What's up, family? It's your man, Diamond K. This is the Diamond K Show where we cut through the noise and break down the stories shaping America. So I'm talking about entertainment, politics, law, culture, and the money behind all of it. Today's a heavy lineup and fresh off a federal shutdown, a high profile defamation fight between the Kardashians and Ray J, Pete Hegseth's clash with the top brass. I'm talking about generals. Swizz Beatz staying locked in a $7.3 million 1MDB linked lawsuit. The latest on Diddy just days before his sentencing, and a deadly attack at the LDS church in Michigan, plus a sobering look at U.S. test scores hitting a new low. Let's go. Okay, so the federal government has shut down, and we're going to talk about what that actually means. As of today, October the 1st, 2025, the federal government is in a shutdown. Regulators are furloughing staff, and the SEC says more than 90% of its workforce is out, keeping only skeleton crews for emergency enforcement and market surveillance. That means IPOs stall, ETF approvals pause, and some economic data releases will be delayed. Adding to already jittery markets, this is going to cause a lot of confusion. The CFTC continues with roughly 5 to 6% of its staff. The Fed, the FDIC, is going to keep operating because their funding streams are separate. So beyond Wall Street, shutdowns impact everybody. So we're talking about contracting delays. National parks and museums are closed or limited. Federal research is on hold. Passport and visas backlogs, all of that stopping. Furloughs for hundreds of thousands of federal workers. Credit watchers are already flashing warning lights. This is going to be crazy. Scope Ratings says that an extended shutdown is a negative for U.S. credit standing as the political polarization makes timely agreements harder. So if you invest, watch for delays, filings, approvals, risk off swings. If you're a federal worker or a contractor, check your agency's contingency plans. But at the end of the day, these shutdowns are something that can be avoided. There's no law that says we have to shut the government down. This is something that started happening during the Reagan administration in the 80s. And for the most part, politicians use this for posturing. And it's really funny that folks who are paid a lot of money in Congress to make laws and make decisions cannot agree on a budget, right? They get a lot of time off, they get paid a lot of money, and they have no problem impacting everybody else. Meanwhile, they still get paid. Just so you know. So that's what we're dealing with this federal shutdown, this Trump shutdown. Republicans control Congress, control the White House. Obviously, this is on them. Now, my question is, what should be considered essential? What should be considered essential? Definitely let me know. Email me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. On social media, I am at the Diamond K Show. So, Pete Hegseth, this guy, talk about white privilege. Pete Hegseth versus the generals. So he's talking about fitness, wokeness, and military culture. So he's the defense secretary. He thinks he's the war secretary. Now, at a rare, high-profile gathering of senior commanders, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he's also AKA calling himself the war, I guess he's a war secretary. Anyway, he laid out some directives on physical fitness, on grooming, and culture as part of a crackdown he frames as restoring the quote unquote war fighting focus. In sharp terms, he blasted so called woke policies and even criticized the appearance and fitness of senior leaders of our armed forces. This is a culture war meets chain of command, and the reaction inside the ranks, it does matter. I thought it was very hypocritical for Hegseth to be criticizing one, the appearance and fitness of senior leaders when he parades around sniffing the butt of Donald Trump, who is clearly obese, amongst other things. He's going to talk about he doesn't want to see fat generals, but Donald Trump's, rolling around the White House. And I don't mean, how the governor of Texas is. I mean, Trump's rolling around, swollen ankles, all that kind of stuff. So there was a reported 10-point directive pushing stricter fitness and grooming standards and a return to, quote, highest male standard for combat roles. So, fitness and grooming, all for that. It is wonderful. There's a way to do this. And I think that Hegseth is a disgrace. But messaging that prioritizes DEI framing in favor of combat readiness. Supporters say it fixes real readiness gaps. It fixes some real readiness gaps. The biggest readiness gap is having a commander-in-chief who was scared to serve. That is a big gap. But, I'm warning that this politicizes the force, and it's going to hurt recruiting and retention. Folks already do not want to serve. And when you have a clown like Hegseth, it does not help recruiting. That is clear. Military standards versus modern talent pipelines. Can the Pentagon raise the bar without alienating critical skill sets? That's the needle that they have to thread. And clearly, Hegseth has no idea what he's doing. Hegseth should be nowhere near any of this stuff. But I want to hear from you. DJDiamondK@gmail.com. Of course, on the show, we have not been a supporter of Hegseth in this role. Hegseth on Fox News, that is all fine and nice. That is where I think he belongs. But let me know if I'm missing something. Let me know. DJDiamondK@gmail.com. Of course, on all social media, I am at the Diamond K Show. And so I want to take a somber turn here. In Michigan, the LDS church attack. I'm going to talk about that. Authorities are investigating Sunday's deadly attack at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is a Mormon meeting house in Grand Blanc Township in Michigan. So the suspect, a MAGA supporter, a right-winger, a Republican supporting voter, Trump supporter. All right, I want to make sure I get all that out there. Thomas Jacob Sanford, a white 40-year-old Marine veteran, crashed a truck into the chapel and opened fire, right, of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, early reporting cited at least 4 dead, multiple folks injured. Numbers have shifted as officials firm up the timeline and the casualty counts. A political motive has not formally been established. Of course, the mainstream media is so upset that this is clearly done by a Trump supporter. And, some reports note some anti-Mormon sediments and imagery found at his home, along with his Trump and Pence sign. Anyway, investigators are still working the why. This, of course, is an active, evolving case. We're going to stick to the official updates and the casualty counts. But still, like I said, no motive. Community support needs are immediate, trauma services, blood donations, all that kind of stuff. They definitely need to make some security assessments for houses of worship. Violence at sacred spaces definitely hits a different nerve when we're talking about schools, when we're talking about churches. It is, we're against violence everywhere, but it is especially saddening when it happens at places like this. Of course, you listen to the Diamond K Show, of course, on firebroadcasting.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, search the Diamond K Show. But wherever you're watching us, give a like, definitely subscribe, hit that share button. On youtube.com/DJ Diamond K, visit us there as well. And of course, on Substack, I am diamondk.substack.com. So as far as schools, you have this administration trying to get rid of the Trump administration, trying to eliminate the Department of Education. Test scores have hit new lows. Data from the National Report Card, right? This is our nation's report card. The NAEP shows that 2014 declines at the high school level and continued slippage across core subjects are what we are faced with now. Part of a years-long slide post-pandemic. We have to, this is new lows. We need to be teaching kids more. But the gap has been widening between the lowest and the highest performing students. The official NAEP, the nation's report card, the portals let you dig in state by state to these terrible trends. So their flags as far as reading and math, that is down to decades low territory for certain grades. And some are saying that this is the worst in 20 to 30 years, depending on the metric. So you can use the dashboard to verify your state and subgroup trends. You don't have to rely on the headlines. You don't have to rely on what I'm saying. You can go to the nation's report card and their website and look at the portal and really see where we need to improve. So there needs to be some high dosage tutoring, definitely extended learning time. And we need folks to have their children doing evidence-based reading instruction, science of reading. We need better teachers in the pipelines. The question is whether districts can fund and sustain them. What is actually working in your district? How are the students performing? Teachers, parents? I'd like to know. Definitely email me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. On social media, I'm at the Diamond K Show. I need some receipts too, because I hear a lot of folks that y'all gonna say different things, but we need some evidence, because based on these test scores, things are not looking good. Based on the test scores, I'm just saying. As we are doing this program today on the 1st of October, the sentencing of Sean P. Diddy Combs is looming. We're just days before the sentencing. Prosecutors are seeking 11 plus years. The federal judge denied Diddy's attempt to overturn his prostitution-related conviction and to get a new trial. His sentencing is set for this Friday, October the 3rd. Prosecutors are asking, as I said, for 11 years. The defense wants 14 months. So they are not even close with this. He was acquitted on more serious racketeering and sex trafficking counts, but still faces serious time on the counts of conviction. Prosecutors have a 164-page memo sketching out patterns of conduct. The defense highlights conditions in pretrial detention and pushes for leniency. So you should expect this. Some survivor impact statements. Those usually hit really hard. Some character letters from the defense and a sentencing range debate over the guidelines. This is stuff that we're going to be looking forward to. I don't mean looking forward to in that way, but this is what's going to happen. We're going to see this on Friday. How should acquittals on the bigger charges affect the sentence on the lesser charges? You know what I'm saying? The big things, he was acquitted on those. So at the same time, he was found guilty on some of these lesser charges, but that doesn't mean you tack on all those years like he got convicted of the bigger charges. You understand what I'm saying? So let me know your thoughts. What do you think Diddy should get? Initially, I was thinking that he was going to get like 5 years, right? And this is after he was acquitted on those bigger charges. Prosecutors are asking for 11 years. The defense says that they want 14 months. And of course, if they got the 14 months, he's already been in jail for a year. And so he would be coming home if the defense obviously got what they wanted. He beat the trafficking and racketeering charges, but he's still facing some time. And after all this is said and done, what does this case mean for his legacy and hip hop, his impact in hip hop? For a minute, I thought folks were going to stop playing his records. He hasn't made a lot, obviously, new records since he's been in. He had just released an album that was a good album, but a lot of those new songs, not hearing those, but the classics, still hear those in the club. And unlike with R. Kelly, I remember when R. Kelly was first convicted, some DJs were kind of playing the record and then kind of looking away or ducking down, not trying to, and that's if they were playing the R. Kelly records I'm talking about. But I think folks are back to playing R. Kelly records now. But Diddy records, are we going to still continue to play them? I think so, because you have some folks that feel like they're just targeting Diddy, and other folks feel like, however they feel. But the records are the records, and I can make the separation between how somebody lives their personal life and their art. But definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show. And anywhere you get your podcast, search The Diamond K Show, djdiamondk@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with me. So Swizz Beatz, a judge keeps him in a $7.3 million 1MDB linked case. So this case, it was a little confusing to me. So a New York federal judge has denied Swizz Beatz the attempt that he made to dismiss this lawsuit. Now, this lawsuit alleges that he received millions in transfers tied to a J-Ho Low 1MDB linked entity between 2012 and 2014. So with the motion to dismiss being rejected, the case is going to move forward. So that means discovery pressure, potential depositions, and unless settled, the road toward a trial. So reports identify that the judge Naomi Reese Buchwald as presiding. So what are we going to watch for? Discovery fights over financial records and communications. Whether plaintiffs push for a summary judgment or the threat level nudges a settlement. Also, we need to look out for any spillover, reputational risk to brand partnerships, damages. Now, we're going to continue to cover this and the business behind the music because these issues can outlive the hits. So we're going to continue to see what's going on with this. A lot of folks I guess maybe didn't know about this, or hasn't been talked about a lot. But if this continues, we may see some serious damages, and I mean harm to the reputation of Swizz Beatz. So let me know your thoughts, of course, djdiamondk@gmail.com. And so another interesting thing, a couple of days ago, maybe even a week or so ago, I saw Ray J on social media talking greasy. Saw him on some shows talking greasy. May have been TMZ. But anyway, the Kardashians, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner, have filed a defamation lawsuit against Ray J, and they allege that he falsely claimed that they're under a federal racketeering investigation, citing statements in a recent documentary and a September 24th live stream. They've retained Alex Spiro, a heavyweight attorney known for very aggressive filings. They are public figures, so they must prove actual malice. And they must also prove that Ray J knew the statements were false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. Reckless disregard. And so let's do a quick legal explainer here as we talk about this. So defamation elements. Number one, a provable false statement of fact. Number two, published to others. Number three, fault. That is actual malice for public figures. And number four, damages. So potential defenses, truth, opinion, or lack of actual malice. Now, what we need to watch for, courts' early rulings on anti-SLAPP, SLAPP. Now, that's if applicable. Now, motions to dismiss, we need to watch out for that, and any discovery into source, that is proof behind the racketeering claim. So is the standard for public figure defamation too high? It is a very high burden, or is it exactly right? Let me know your thoughts, djdiamondk@gmail.com. So the Kardashians and Kris Jenner have filed this defamation against Ray J, who's been going around saying that they're going to be indicted and they're under federal racketeering investigation and da-da-da-da-da-da. And he was talking greasy. And so that's what that's and he's been talking greasy for a while. Like he you want to talk about reckless. He is reckless with the words, and I don't know. The Kardashians say that Ray J's statements have damaged their brand and have crossed legal lines. Ray J, of course, argues that he's just telling his side. But now this is going to be heading to court, where this long-running feud could finally be decided by a judge. So specifically, Kim and Kris suing Ray J for defamation. And at the end of the day, this case stems from Ray J's repeated public claims about their past, including allegations and mumbo jumbo tied to that infamous tape and the business dealings around it. So I guess Ray J was looking for money. Well, I don't know what he's looking for, but he's got a defamation suit on his hands, and I'm sure that's not what he wanted. I'm pretty sure that's not what he wanted, but that's what he has. And we're going to continue to follow that. djdiamondk@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts on that. I find it fascinating because sometimes when folks got big mouths and talk crazy, you get stuff like this. And last thing before we get out of here, I wanted to talk about the Epstein files, the Epstein documents. House Democrats released a partially redacted scheduling record tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, these records reference proposed trips. So I think the key here is proposed trips and meetings with some of the world's most powerful figures. For example, there's a note reminding someone about a planned visit from Elon Musk to Epstein's island. Another entry mentions a meeting with Steve Bannon in 2019, and in 2017, there's a note about a lunch with billionaire investor Peter Thiel. Here's the key. These are just schedules. They don't confirm that the meetings actually took place, and there's no proof of wrongdoing linked to these names. Still, just being in the orbit of Epstein raises questions. Now, we've seen this before, from Bill Gates to Prince Andrew, from Clinton to Trump. Epstein had surrounded himself with elites. The files don't mean guilt, but they do highlight how many of the world's movers and shakers crossed paths with Jeffrey Epstein. That in itself is telling about how power networks operate. Now, as the public keeps demanding answers, every new document drop adds more pressure. The Epstein scandal isn't just about one man. It's about the powerful people he had access to. And the big question remains, how much did they know, and why were they meeting with him at all? You're listening to the Diamond K Show, onfirebroadcasting.com. Let me know your thoughts. Should we view these meetings as just networking, or is there more beneath the surface? Hit me up on social media at the Diamond K Show. Of course, until next time, I want you to stay informed and stay on fire. I will be back here tomorrow with more of the show.